Now, it is my pleasure to turn the presentation over to our first panelist, Carmine Corridore, President of Underdog Computer and Network Support, LLC.
Good morning, everyone. Thank you, Liz, Kylie, the Chambers, and especially Aetna for sponsoring this. My name is Carmine Corridore, President of Underdog Computer and Network Support. We are located in Tobyhanna, Pennsylvania. I have been in the IT industry for 30 years. I started out as a printer repair tech and have spent most of my time in desktop and network support. I've been a service manager and an operations manager before deciding to start Underdog. I have lived in the Poconos for 20 years with my wife, Kelly, and my two boys, Dylan and Matthew. Today, I'll be discussing with you cybersecurity. Cybercrime is on the rise all over the world. What used to be solo hackers is now big business. There are real businesses with CEOs and employees whose job is creating and distributing malware. I think any conversation about cybersecurity needs to begin with cyber hygiene. So what is cyber hygiene? Like having good personal hygiene helps protect us against diseases and illnesses, the same can be said about practicing good cyber hygiene. There are so many things in our life we can just set once and forget it. Computers and technologies are not a set it and forget it thing. Since we have cyber criminals out there every day looking for new ways to compromise systems and gain access to information they can use to sell or exploit, new vulnerabilities are being found in our operating systems. This is where patching comes into play. Patching plugs holes and fixes bugs. Software developers are constantly checking their software, whether it's Microsoft, Apple, or some other developer. When they find vulnerabilities or issues, they release patches. Now, you may think your computers are set to download and install patches automatically, but I can't tell you how many times I have observed an end user clicking install updates on reboot. Guess what? They never reboot their computers. How many here, when you're done for the day, just shut off your monitors or close the lids to your laptops? Updates never get applied. We're living in an Amazon Best Buy world. As a society, we have gotten so used to pointing, clicking, and buying, or going to a big box store, looking and comparing at all the same products off the shelf and picking the best one. I mean the cheapest one. But how many here really know what they're looking at when comparing? The problem with this is anything you buy from a big box store, and the majority of what you purchase from Amazon is built for the consumer market. Plug and play, easy to set up, and cheaply made and cost less than the business class counterpart. There's also out-of-the-box vulnerable and really not suited for a business network. They wear out quickly, most times due to being overloaded. As I mentioned earlier, malware is a business now. Cyber criminals are finding new and innovative ways to get your data, so we need to be more vigilant than ever before. We need to up our game too. The criminals know most small businesses have an underpowered equipment, and that most small businesses have unclean habits as it relates to handling and preventing malware. So how do you up your game? There are new classes of firewalls and new classes of anti-malware out today. There are 3 types of firewalls on the market now: allow and deny. This type of firewall works on rules. Most traffic is allowed by default unless specifically denied. It's not very granular, and most residential firewalls and ISP gateway devices are these. Stateful packet inspection. These are the previous generation of business class firewalls. They have the ability to inspect traffic coming in and provide a granular control on what to do with that traffic. By default, most traffic is denied unless specifically allowed. UTM devices. This is the next generation firewall, and it uses several technologies to provide protection to your network. Some firewalls include AI and even have the ability to sandbox for further inspection. Malware is the general name for malicious software. Virus is a specific category of malware. Similar to the coronavirus is a family of viruses. The common flu and COVID-19 are a specific category of the coronavirus. So when looking to protect your computers, you want to make sure you have an anti-malware. But more importantly, you want to have the next generation of anti-malware, which is intelligent enough to handle zero-day malware and be able to adapt using AI. Just like making sure your computers are patched and up to date, Did you know devices such as printers and IoT devices such as Google Home and Alexa, and even your smartphones have to be patched? They have vulnerabilities same as your computer. Remember I said cyber criminals are looking for new ways to exploit your data? Most of us are new to working from home. Many small business owners had to rush to get their employees working from home. In today's business landscape, many businesses now have their line of business application on the internet. So from a business owner's perspective, it's a no-brainer. The employee can use their home computer to access the line of business application. And in my world, that is called bring your own device. And this is a common practice in many businesses these days. And while it's okay to have a policy like this, it provides a false sense of security. First, if you're going to have a BYOD policy, you need to have a minimum standard of security. What that looks like for each business is different, but a BYOD policy should have the following requirements. Does the computer have a proper business class anti-malware? Is the home network secure with a good business class firewall? Or better yet, is the computer segmented from the rest of the home network? Is there a way for the home user to securely store and upload documents that they're working on? Optionally, are you employing a VPN technology and a cloud backup technology for the computer? Phishing is a tactic some cyber criminals will use to gain passwords or financial information from its victims. There are several ways this can be done. Sending you an email posing as someone you might know as a way to get your guard down. Sending an email posing as a source you might know with an attachment, hoping you'll open it up, and when you do, install a piece of spyware on your computer. Social engineering uses technology to manipulate the victim to giving up information. Who here loves filling out those cute Facebook getting to know you posts? You know the ones. Ask what high school you went to, what is your favorite food, what's your favorite vacation spot? A cyber criminal can use those types of quizzes to get more information about you, figure out your passwords, or even answer challenge questions to your financial institutions. Scams come in many different forms and have increased during COVID-19. But if you apply some common sense and some due diligence, you can usually spot them. Here are some general points to follow. Is the email you're getting expected? If it has an attachment, are you expecting that attachment? Is the language or phrases used odd to you? You can generally get a sense of how someone speaks in an email. Even if you have been emailing back and forth with that person, does something now look off? If there are links in the email, hover over them before you click them. Do they look odd? And again, are they expected? And when in doubt, just call the person. Ransomware is malware attacks that encrypt all your data. Not only that, but it will seek out other computers on your network and encrypt their data as well. And if that wasn't bad enough, ransomware has even evolved to searching out things like OneDrive and Google Drive. And this is why it's important to have your computers, devices, and networks properly secured with a business class firewall, even if you have a home-based business or currently working from home, properly protected with business class anti-malware, properly patched computers and devices, and someone managing, monitoring your computers, devices, and networks. We are all going through difficult and unusual times right now. Many businesses will look to cut expenses. Many businesses look at computer and network support as an expense, and cyber criminals are expecting you to cut those costs. Don't do it. Instead, look at your current IT provider. Are they future-proofing you? Are there gaps in the service they're providing? Now more than ever in this new normal, you need a technology partner that acts as your CIO, not just fixing broken things. A CIO helps you strategically plan to move your business towards the future. Not necessarily be on the bleeding edge, but stay ahead or on top of the curve. Remember I said technology is not a set it and forget it thing. Cyber criminals are always changing their tactics. Your technology cannot stay stagnant. You should have a business continuity and disaster recovery plan in place, as they are roadmaps to dealing with and returning from disasters or events, such as COVID-19. If you had a proper BCDR plan, returning to normal should be easy. The key here is if you didn't have one, now is the time to build one while the paint is fresh. If you had one and it doesn't go as planned, you'll need to review and determine what went wrong and fix it. Test often, running quarterly, biannual, or annual fire drills. I would like to close with this. A few days ago, I was reminded of the Stockdale paradox, and I think it's appropriate for what we are all going through right now. James Stockdale was a captive prisoner of war for 7 years during the Vietnam War. He was beaten and tortured. He was once asked in an interview, who didn't make it out? Stockdale replied, oh, that's easy, the optimist. The interviewer responded, the optimist, I don't understand. Stockdale replied, the optimist, oh, they're the ones who said, we're going to be out by Christmas, and Christmas would come and go. Then they say we're going to be out by Easter, and Easter would come and go. Then Thanksgiving, and then it would be Christmas again. They died of a broken heart. The Stockdale paradox is this. You must never confuse faith that you will prevail in the end, which you could never afford to lose, with the discipline to confront the most brutal facts of your current reality, whatever that might be. In more simpler terms, it's the idea of hoping for the best, but acknowledging and preparing for the worst. Stay safe, and thank you for having me.